My name is Junko, and I'm an addict. It all started with all of these online artists telling me that copying other people's work is a good way to improve your art. I tried it, and I told myself, I'll only do it now and then. But it made my art look so good. It made me feel good. Now it's all I ever do. And when I try to draw from imagination, all I can muster are stick figures.
I smoke crack.
Apparently, a heavy reliance on reference material does not count as an addiction, so I was politely asked to leave. But as I walked across the dimly lit church parking lot back to my 2006 Honda Civic, I ruminated on my problem, determined to fix it. I've become too reliant on copying other people's art, to the point that it is all I've drawn in the past few months. It is a problem I'm certain many other beginning artists share with me. Now don't get me wrong, copying art is an amazing way to improve. In fact, it's a very natural way to learn. As young children, we start learning by imitating the adults around us. In the context of art, copying allows us to expand our visual library and better understand the decisions more experienced artists make. However, there is a safety in copying. A lot of decisions you need to make as an artist, such as composition, style, and rendering, are made for you. Your art turns out better than if you needed to make those decisions yourself. For me, that safety turned into comfort. And the second you become comfortable while learning a new skill, your progress becomes stagnant. I've known this was a problem I've had for a few months, but it really sank in when I started this YouTube channel. All of the videos I've made up until this point feature me copying works. And I did this because I wanted something presentable to show. I was afraid any original work I made wouldn't turn out good enough to show in a video. Which defeats the purpose of this channel, which is to document the process of learning how to draw. So today I will be drawing an original piece of art, and we'll see if my months of copying translated into making good artwork, or if I've wasted my time. I decided I wanted to draw the Oracle of Delphi, also known as the Pythia. The Pythia was the priestess at the Temple of Apollo. It was said she was able to channel prophecies from Apollo himself, possibly by getting high on ethylene. Although the exact method of how she entered a trance state is debated to this day. People from across the ancient world would come to hear her prophecies. I was fascinated by the idea of traveling miles by foot to ask the Pythia a question and standing across from her as she tells you your fate. I ended up making this quick sketch from the viewpoint of the pilgrim. Now that I had a sketch, I needed to work out the composition of the piece. I've been studying composition by making thumbnail sketches of works of art I find compositionally interesting. So I decided to apply what I've learned by making some for this piece. After doing a few of them, I discovered I liked the idea of a highly symmetrical composition where the viewer is guided to the face with these swooping lines from both sides. This led me to create a new sketch that incorporated a wide U-shaped line to guide my placement of the arms. After that, I started on the drawing. I used both the original sketch and the new sketch for reference. I also took a look at some works done by other artists for inspiration, but I wanted to work from imagination as much as possible to test myself, so I kept that to a limit. Next, I started putting in more detail. I was having trouble with the hands, so I decided to put the drawing down for a day, which leads me to where I am at now. Alright, after sitting on this for a day, the first thing I noticed when I took another look at it is the body is way too long. I already redid this section and moved it up about 3 times yesterday. It looks like I have to do it again, probably to about here, I think would be good. Other than that, I think everything looks pretty okay. Once I put the hands in, I think that the foreshortening of the arms will make a bit more sense. I'm not sure if I want to leave these arms bare or if I want to put clothing on them. I'm gonna figure that out once I get to that. And other than that, I think all I have to do is clean up the lines and start shading, and I'll be done. Alright, I drew the hands, I redid the lower body, and I cleaned up the lines, and now I'm starting with shading. I'm gonna be honest with you, I skipped ahead because I did not want to deal with all that footage. It took me 1.5 hours just to do the hands. For context, this shading portion took me 1 hour. It took me longer to draw the hands than to shade the entire drawing. To be fair, the hands are oddly posed, but it should not be taking me this long to draw hands. On top of that, I'm not that happy on how they turned out. I think I need to start doing just pages and pages of hands. As I finish this drawing up, let's go over how this little project went. So did only copying for so long help or hinder me? I would have to say the answer is definitely both. I'm honestly surprised on how well this turned out. This is the first long-form original drawing I've done in ages, and I have to say it's a big step up from what I used to be able to do. There were times when I was drawing this where I felt like I was drawing the Rohan piece that I copied in my first video. The process felt familiar even though this is not something I've drawn before. On the other hand, making this piece made me realize there's a lot of stuff that I haven't been doing that I need to practice. Some of it is obvious, like taking an idea and making it into a complete finished work. Others are challenges I didn't know existed until I did this piece. Before I made this piece, I never thought of the relationship between composition and proportion. Fitting a figure in frame with a certain pose, all while keeping accurate proportions, is a skill. I hadn't even thought of practicing this because when you're copying, all of this work is already done for you. When I originally conceived of this piece, I had no plan to put in the legs, but they just happened to be put in there because they kinda needed to be. This used to happen a lot when I was making original pieces earlier in the year, where I just didn't know exactly how to do what I wanted to do, so pieces turned out different than I had imagined them. At the end of the day, copying works has helped me a lot, but I definitely need to incorporate making more original works into my practice. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much again. July 3rd marks my 1-year anniversary of taking drawing seriously and drawing almost every day. I'm gonna be making a video soon, basically going over my entire progress, what I've learned, and where I am now, and also my plans for the future. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe. Also, if you're an experienced artist, please leave any suggestions, feedback, criticisms down below. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.